Hinge and Dame Hilda Brackett. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Tressel in Face to Face.
Nothing in Stackton Tressel causes more interest than the sudden appearance outside one of the houses of a for sale board. When that board goes up, it's, why are the old people going? How much are they asking for it? And how on earth will the agent manage to make that place sound attractive without landing himself in prison? Most of the sheets of particulars are quickly snapped up from the agent's office by nosy locals trying to find out. And then it's 3 good-sized bedrooms. How can they? It's a bedroom, a box room, and a cupboard off. Now, I normally endeavour to remain aloof from such inquisitiveness, but I have to admit that when last autumn new people moved into Larkswood House, I was mildly curious. They've got their dining room curtains up, Evadne.
Who has?
The people at Larkswood House.
How do you know?
I passed there on the way back from shopping.
You came the long way round, didn't you?
Well, it's such a lovely morning. And, you know, I felt like a breath of fresh air. Mind, that house has stood empty so long that the front hedge is quite out of hand. Do you know, I can't see over it now. Not even on tiptoes.
You seem to take that road no matter where you're going these days.
I do, since I started collecting pine cones, yes. Well, it's the only road in Stackton that has a pine tree.
It's amazing how a property-changing hands can stimulate your normally dormant interest in nature, isn't it? I mean, when they sold the willows, you started collecting catkins. When they changed hands, it was conkers. One can only hope the people at chimneys never move. I mean, what are you going to do with all those pine cones anyway?
I'm going to paint them, dear, for Christmas. They'll look lovely when I finish with them. A splash of silver paint, a bit of red ribbon, and maybe a handful of glitter.
Oh, how vulgar.
Oh, don't be such a frump. Anyway, you won't be getting one.
Incidentally, Hilda, while you were out, some idiot kept trying to phone this number from a call box without putting any money in. Happened 3 times. All I got was the peep, peep, peep sound, you see, and then the line went dead.
No, it's all right, dear. There's nothing to worry about. That was me.
You? Well, why didn't you put your money in?
I didn't have any.
Well, what was the point of phoning? What did you want?
I didn't want anything. I just wanted to look as if I was on the phone.
Oh, I see. You were in the call box opposite Larkswood House, were you?
Do you know, if you stand on the directories and look in the mirror... you can see right up their drive. And that's how I discovered that they have a cat.
Well, how?
I saw someone putting it out of the front door. It's not a very nice cat, Evadne. It's rather sinister. It's not Stackton. And I do hope it's not going to set R3 a bad example.
Do you think it's going to break in and sit round the fire with them?
And do you know who I bumped into as I came out of that phone box?
No, who?
Naomi Mellendrop.
No. Has she started collecting pine cones too?
Well, it was Naomi who first got me interested.
You know, I think I'll go away at Christmas. Those things are obviously going to be hard to avoid.
Now, you know how astute Naomi is when it comes to finding out what's going on.
Oh, I do indeed. Naomi Mellinger has ears like satellite dishes and the nose of an anteater.
Yes, hasn't she? Anyhow, Naomi doesn't know a thing.
I could have told you that.
Now, I mean about the new people, dear.
Anyway, I thought you'd seen them.
Me? When?
When they put the cat out.
Oh, no, dear, it just sort of shot out. They only opened the front door a tiny crack, and then it was slammed shut. You don't suppose they're lying low, do you? I mean, perhaps they've just done a job. They might be about to do one.
Well, I hope for their sake they aren't, dear. They obviously won't be able to get out of their front gate without knocking someone down.
Or, of course, it could be a recluse. Somebody like Howard Hughes.
Well, I'd have thought that house was the very last place a recluse would choose, seeing there's nothing but an overgrown hedge between its front windows and Stackton's pine-gathering army of quidnuncs.
And what is a quidnunc?
You are. You're between a sensitive and you're a gossip.
Evadne, don't you think it rather strange that we know nothing at all about these people? After all, they've been here 4 days now.
I think it's strange that so many supposedly intelligent people should be wasting so much time trying to find out about them. Who cares?
Well, if that's your attitude, you should become a hermit. After all, no man is an island. We're all part of the main, and when a new bit joins us, we naturally want to know whether it's going to fit or not.
Hello, it's us.
Oh, good heavens. Look who's at the garden door. Peter and Mandy Moore.
That's part of the main I'd be happy to see crumble.
Secret, a secret, we've got a secret.
They've got a secret, Evadne.
Why don't they go home and keep it to themselves?
I shall have to let them in now.
Let us in and you shall hear something to delight your ear.
Hello, Dame Hilda.
Hello.
Hello, you two. Come along in.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, now, sit yourselves down and tell me, what is this all about? It all sounds most intriguing.
Well, we just bumped into Miss Mellinger, and she said you didn't know.
I didn't know what, dear.
Didn't know who the new people at Larkswood House are.
Well, neither does she.
She does now.
How?
Because we told her.
And how do you know?
Because we went to the house and asked.
You never did.
Well, let's face it, Hilda. This is the simplest way.
We just went to welcome them to Stackton Tressel.
No, Dee, we went to find out who they were.
And to welcome them to Stackton Tressel, P.
Well, yes, but principally to find out who they were.
P, everybody wanted to find out who they were.
Well, there you are, then.
Oh, why must you argue? Anyway, Dame Hilda, we just marched up to the front door and we knocked, didn't we, P?
Well, I rang the bell first, Dee, but that didn't work.
Well, it did until you broke it. And then I had to knock, and when the door was opened, I said, hello, we're your neighbours.
Neighbours? But you live nearly 2 miles away.
Ah, yes, but they don't know that.
And you don't think they'll ever find out?
Oh, they'll find out all right, Doctor, but that'll only serve to show them how jolly neighbourly we Stacktonians are.
Exactly. It's a long way to walk just to welcome total strangers.
I must confess, Mandy, I'm absolutely dying to know who the new people are.
Well, Dame Hilda, there's just the two of them, a man and his housekeeper. But, and this is the interesting part.
Hilda, do sit a bit further back in your chair, dear. Otherwise you're going to roll off.
Get me. I'm on what I believe they call tenterhooks.
And if you're not very careful, you're going to be on what I believe they call the floor.
Now, Mandy, dear, please.
Well, this man knows you from your days in the theatre.
Does he?
And he knows the doctor, too.
Does he?
Probably one of your old flames, Hilda. I was always being sent to put them out.
Well as a friend, you know. I've always looked upon you as a fire bucket. I think it's the face.
I don't think he was actually a friend, Dame Hilda.
Mind, Dee, we don't know that he wasn't.
I think it's
True, he might or he might not have been.
Well, isn't that what I said?
Not in so many words, dear, no.
Oh. Well, apparently, Dame Hilda, he was a theatre critic.
Oh, a critic. Well, the critics were always my friends.
Yes. And who was always sent out to buy the whiskey for them?
He was on the Snitterton Clarion for a while.
Ah, the dear old Snitterton Clarion.
Tatty rag.
I got my very first notice with the Rosa Charles Opera Company from the Snitterton Clarion. It's here in the cupboard somewhere if you'd like to see it.
Now you've started something.
I've got all my old press cuttings in here. You might like to borrow them sometime.
Oh, we'd love to, wouldn't we, please?
Oh, yes, we'd adore to, Dig.
You'll need a forklift truck.
What's the man's name?
Oh, here, I wrote it down. Oh, can you read that, Dig?
I don't need to, P. His name's Roland Quartermaine.
Roland Quartermaine? No, it doesn't ring a bell. Do you have any idea when he was at Snitterton?
Well, I'm not really awfully sure,
He
but
particularly mentioned seeing you in something called The Lady of the Rose.
Ah, yes, 1900. That was a good show.
I think she's about to sing, Mandy, but you've only yourself to blame for that.
Here, Mandy, there. Now, here are all my cuttings. See if you can find his piece. And here's the score, Evadne. We must invite him round to dinner, and afterwards we could run through the show for him, just for old time's sake.
He's going to regret moving into Stackton. Now, which of these songs do you want to start with?
This one, dear. Catch a butterfly while you can. It was my big number. Now, Peter, Mandy, in this, I played the part of Sophie Laval, the beautiful, glamorous leader of a dance company run by an Italian nobleman called Baron Sprotty Sprotty.
Can't we just do the song, Hilda?
No, I think the story helps, dear. Anyway, Peter, Mandy, try to imagine that this here is a room in Castle Beltrame. Now, you see, we've been stranded in a castle full of soldiers. We were on the way to Milan, and I am now surrounded by handsome young officers. You'll have to imagine them, of course. To whom I sing this song.
lovely.
Evadne? Evadne!
Sorry, I must have nodded off.
Typical. You were always doing that in the orchestra pit. That's why the first violin had a hat pin on his bow.
Do let's get on with it.
Some girls prefer to stay at home beyond familiar walls they never care to range. We are painted butterflies that roam wherever fancy calls in search of something strange. For the world's a garden and we ask no pardon, as from flower to flower we gaily go. Each heart's a rover all the wide world over, and the flowers are ours, we know. Goodbye, far over the world we love to wander. Goodbye, the butterfly life it calls us yonder. Here, there, we fare, where'er we find a sunny hour to squander. Men may try to cast his nets about us. He'll say, life so lonely gets without us. Oh, men, vainly you plot and plan. You have to catch a butterfly while you can. Gay little gadabouts are we, as careless and as free as birds that fly above. We long for something new to see, for somewhere new to be, and someone new to love. If you have the same one, life's a dull and tame one, but when new men woo you every day, they fill your fancies full of fresh romances that are sweet as flowers. Goodbye, far over the world we love to wander. Goodbye, the butterfly life it calls us yonder. Here, there, we fare, where'er we find a sunny hour to squander. Man may cast his nets of cast about us. Here, where'er we find us. Vainly you plot and you plan. You have to catch a butterfly while you can. Come on. Bless you.
I'd like to hear the whole score.
Another time, my dears, another time.
It'll have to be. I've just locked the piano.
Now, Mandy, have you managed to find our Mr. Quartermaine's notice yet?
Not yet, Dame Hilda, but you see that cutting there with the little smudgy photograph beside it?
Yes.
Well, that could be him, couldn't it, P?
I suppose it could be, Dee, yes.
Well, do you think it is or not?
No. No, I don't.
Oh, I'm not so sure. I mean, if that dark hair was grey and the moustache was shaved off and he was wearing glasses, well, it could be him then, couldn't
Well, it could be anybody then, Dee. I mean, if you're going to change it entirely...
No, that's him. I'm sure that's him.
But that's Henry Hornet. Evadne, you remember Henry Hornet?
Yes, indeed. I always thought he was a very good critic.
Well, I didn't.
Well, I used to get some very good notices from him.
Well, I didn't. He was the rudest man I've ever come across. He's had me in tears before now. And there have not been many men who are able to do that.
Nonsense. You were always in tears for one reason or another. You were famous for your tantrums.
Well, it's better than being famous for the size of one's feet.
I say, P, I do hope we haven't put our foot in it.
If your Mr. Quartermaine does turn out to mean Henry Hornet, I shall most certainly give him a piece of my mind.
Oh, well, this looks like being your chance, Dame Hilda. That's him coming up the drive.
Oh, dear.
That's it, P. Smooth things over.
Evadne, when Mr. Quartermaine knocks, I suggest that you answer the door and see what he wants. And do try not to be too effusive. I know you didn't often get good reviews, but you've no cause to grovel.
I'm sure I'll be able to restrain myself, Hilda, but if you should see me touching my forelock, give me a nudge, won't you? You wouldn't like me to say you're out, would you? I mean, you could always nip out the garden way.
And leave you two here on your own to pick me to pieces? Certainly not.
Very well, then. Here goes.
Well, we'd better be making tracks, hadn't we, P?
What, already? Aren't we going to stay and say hello?
No, we're not. We'll go the garden way. Oh, Dame Hilda, I'm sure Mr. Quartermaine can't have been Henry Hornet. He seems such a very nice man.
Well, we shall see, shan't we? But don't worry, my dear. Whether he is or not, I shall endeavour to remain the perfect lady. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ah, Hilda, this is our new neighbour, Mr. Quartermaine. He is called to pay his respects.
Mr. Bye. Oh, very kind.
No, not at all, Dame Hilda, not at all. As soon as I heard I had to come, I always enjoy seeing the old faces.
Must have been a rare treat to see Evadne's then.
Why, yes, indeed, to see you both. I've lost so many of my old friends in the theatre lately.
Well, you didn't have to rush round here quite so quickly. Daddy and I are good for a few years yet. Indeed, we're both still in the prime of life and feeling exceedingly spry. Well, I am.
Oh, well, you mustn't misunderstand me.
I wouldn't pursue that line of conversation if I were you, Mr. Quartermaine. It will almost certainly end with Hilda doing a cartwheel. Now, why don't you sit down?
No, thank you.
Can I offer you a glass of sherry?
Why, that would be most welcome.
And how about you, Hilda? Are you going to join us?
If you've no objections.
Well, this is really nice, and a very pleasant change. I've been stuck up a ladder for 4 whole days with a paintbrush in my hand. In truth, I'd not be sitting here now had I not run out of paint.
Oh, well, I'm afraid we can't help you there. Now, if it was a cup of sugar.
I've got some paint.
Evadne, I don't think for one moment that Mr. Quartermaine is decorating his new home with ex-army camouflage paint.
No, I've not come a-cadging. Mrs. McAllister is fetching paint back from the shops at this very moment.
Your sherry, Mr. Quartermaine.
Many thanks indeed.
Hilda?
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Quartermaine, welcome to Stackton Tressel and to your new home.
And here's to my new neighbours.
Ah.
Cheers, God bless.
Yes,
Mud in
yes.
your eye.
God bless you. I should say, perhaps, that Mrs. McAllister is my housekeeper. She runs me, she runs the house, she runs errands, and I'm afraid she tends to run people down, both verbally and, unless they be nimble, physically. She's the most appalling driver. It's why we're without a car at this very moment. It's in a ditch in Essex. Yes, they've got it out, of course. Lord knows when we'll see it again.
Well, if you want running anywhere, or if you ever need to borrow a car...
We can recommend a very reliable taxi service.
No. I'll be all right. I'm a great one for having things delivered. And I'm a firm believer in using the telephone, which again makes things rather difficult just now because, of course, we have not yet been connected.
Well, if you ever want to use a phone...
There's a public call box right opposite.
I know. I can see it from my window. And do you know, every time over the past few days that I have wanted to use that box, I have looked out to find some garrulous old biddy in it. Gabbing away.
Yes, it's a particularly busy box, that one. Isn't it, Hilda?
I don't think I've ever used it.
What?
Well, not properly.
Mind, the road itself has been a good deal busier over the past few days, and I seem to remember it being when I viewed the property.
It's the time of year, Mr. Quartermaine. I think you'll find it will return to normal once the pine cone season's over.
Oh, so that's it, is it? My dear late wife was a great one for the pine cones. The things she used to do with them. You know, in most respects, she was a woman of irreproachable taste and great finesse. But when it came to pine cones, she could be guilty of the most deplorable lapses.
Don't tell me she used to make table decorations for Christmas.
I'm afraid she did. Ghastly things, so garish.
Yes, these things always are, aren't they?
I like them. I think they're Christmassy.
Oh, I suppose they're that all right. Though, in my opinion, they're symptomatic of what that festival has unfortunately become, rather than what it should be.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh, you are a toad, Evadne.
I say, whose is the press-cutting book?
It's mine, Mr. Quartermaine. Just one of many. And you'll find that, with certain notable exceptions, the notices contained therein are splendidly complimentary.
Ah, I see you've got one of mine here.
Ah, so you were Henry Hornet, were you?
Oh, just for a while. Oh, dear. Looking at this crit, I did say some pretty harsh things about you in The Lady of the Rose, didn't I, Dame Hilda? But you know, I'd completely forgotten.
I'm glad you're enjoying reading it. I don't mind telling you, I didn't at the time. And there's not the slightest point you're saying that you didn't mean it.
Oh, if I said it, I meant it all right.
Well, the harm's done now, and the wounds have healed, but I was deeply hurt at the time.
Then you had no business to be in the theatre.
Oh.
After all, if one chooses to stick oneself up there and charge honest, decent, hard-working folk good money to watch one cavorting in a load of musical rubbish, one shouldn't be surprised if one receives the occasional brickbat or even the occasional rotten egg.
Are you implying that what I did was rubbish?
Well, that would certainly appear to be the gist of the piece I have here in my hand.
Can I offer anyone a refill? You must both be getting rather dry.
Evadne, we are trying to have a serious conversation. Well, Mr. Quartermaine, an awful lot of water has flowed under the bridge since then. And I'm not one to bear a grudge, nor to blame a man for the conceits and follies of his youth. I suppose we are now, all of us, a good deal older and wiser. Though, of course, some of us don't look that much older.
And some of us don't seem that much wiser.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing, just an introspective observation.
Well, you can keep your introspective observations to yourself. Now, I am going to be gracious, Mr. Quartermaine. You will doubtless be pleased to hear that I have decided to forgive you for the truly awful notices you sometimes wrote.
Case, Dame Hilda, I too shall be gracious, and you will doubtless be equally pleased to hear that I have decided to forgive you for the truly awful performances you sometimes
Mr. Quartermaine, just between you and me, I will admit that very, very occasionally I did, perhaps, when battling against influenza, give a performance that was marginally below my normal standard of perfection. But not one of the leading critics in the country ever had the temerity to remark on the fact. So who is Henry Hornet among so many? Now, Mr. Quartermaine, another glass of sherry before you leave us?
The random jottings of Hinge and Bracket with Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Bracket. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Tressel in Night Train to Stackton Tressel.
You may not know this, but if you want to get to Stackton Tressel from London by train, you can't. You see, we haven't got a railway line. Oh, we did have, but it was what they called a branch line, and somebody locked it off. So now, if you want to get to Stackton, you have to go to Maltby Magna and then get the bus or the taxi. There's one of each. And the same man drives both. Unless, of course, there's a funeral, in which case he'll be driving the hearse. Well, one day last autumn, Evadne and I visited friends in Essex, and we decided to take the train for a change. And it was a change, too. On the way back, we had to change 5 times, would you believe? I had fewer changes than perchance to dream. Well, as you can imagine, it was getting quite late by the time we got out of the train to make our last change. We seem to be the only people who have got off here, Evadne.
Well, we're obviously the only people going to Maltby Magna.
Not much sign of life, is there? Just us and that blessed owl. I think he's glad to see somebody.
You shouldn't have worn your furs, Hilda. He probably thinks you're a supper.
I shudder to think what he thinks you are. And what time's our connection due?
In about 10 or 15 minutes, according to that ticket collector at Mapleford. Apparently it comes off a siding somewhere. Can you see a siding?
Well, no, dear. But I probably wouldn't recognize a siding if I was up one. I was never a train spotter. Perhaps we should ask somebody.
Whom did you have in mind? The owl?
Well, sure, there must be a porter about somewhere. Or we could ask in the buffet. I fancy a cup of tea.
Buffet? On a station this size? Mind, if you're really gasping, you could always stick your head under that tap over there. Or else remove the mop and drink straight out of the bucket.
If I'd known it was going to be like this, I'd have brought a hamper.
If I'd known it was going to be like this, I'd have brought a survival kit. Mind, if we'd done as I said and taken the car, we'd have been home hours ago.
It's all very well for you, dear. You don't have to drive. No, today's made a nice break for me. I've been able to see a bit of the countryside. I say, it's getting a bit nippy out here. Why don't we go and sit in the waiting room?
I thought you liked seeing the countryside.
Yes, well, there'll probably be some pictures of it in the waiting room. There's almost certainly to be one of Llandudno and probably one of Pevensey Bay.
No, 2 places we haven't changed at today.
Oh, come on, Evadne, open the door, dear.
I can't. It's locked.
Locked? It can't be locked. It's a waiting room.
I'll just put my shoulder to it.
Now I know why you wear that dreadful old overcoat with the padded shoulders.
Hilda, do you want me to open this door or not?
Yes, of course I do, dear. But do let's try to be ladylike about it.
Anyhow, I think it's probably just dropped.
Ah, well, in that case, I know exactly what to do. There's a knack. You just do as I say, and we'll be in 2 ticks. Now, take the doorknob in your right hand.
My right hand, right.
Or your left hand, if you prefer it.
Now, which do you want, Hilda, left or right? Or does it make any difference?
It doesn't make any difference, really.
Then why complicate things? I shall take it in my right hand.
Right. Turn the knob to the left.
Right.
No, left.
Oh, Hilda!
Now, put your left hand on your right hand and lift the door.
Lift it. Yes.
Have you lifted it?
As far as I can, while it's still on its hinges.
Oh, it's all right, dear. I'm not criticizing. Now, keep lifting it. And at the same time, pull it across to the left as hard as you can.
Yes.
Now, yeah, all right. Now, when I say go, push for all you're worth. And at the same time, put your right knee in. And don't lose your balance or you'll fall flat on your face. Now, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think you must be. You've gone ever so red in the face. So, go.
Oh!
I told you to watch your balance.
Well, at least we're in.
We'd have been in complete silence if you'd done it properly. Do you suppose we can get a light on in here?
Well, I suppose we could always feel the walls for gas brackets.
Ah, no need. I found a switch. There, that's better, isn't it?
Better than what? If you ask me, it's even bleaker in here than outside. And just about as dim. Not even a picture of Llandudno. And this bench must surely be original. Probably early Victorian.
Feel at home on it, do you?
I shan't feel at home on anything until I'm at home.
Oh, you must admit it, Evadne. It's been an interesting journey.
I think it's been a crashing bore.
At least we've seen a bit of the big world outside Stackton Tressel.
Hilda, all we've seen is railway stations. We've seen more railway stations today than Thomas the Tank Engine.
So that's what you read in bed, is it? Anyway, I don't mind railway stations. I think they're rather romantic. They always remind me of Brief Encounter. You know, I half expect to see Trevor Howard and dear Celia Johnson, engulfed in steam, gazing into each other's eyes to the strains of Rachmaninoff and eating bath buns.
How did you know what they were eating?
And that's another nice thing about today. It's the first time for ages that I've had a bar of chocolate out of a station machine. And you know, chocolate out of a station machine always tastes quite different to any other sort of chocolate. I don't know why.
Because it's stale.
That chocolate I got at Walton isn't in the least stale. It's gorgeous. Here, would you like a piece?
Well, I wouldn't want to deprive you.
Oh, it's all right. I've got plenty.
Thank you. I say, how many bars have you got in that bag of yours?
Only 8 now. Well, there was only just the dozen in the machine, and I didn't like to ask them to refill it. You know, it might have looked a bit piggish. After all, they wouldn't know I was going to share them, would they?
Share them? This is the first piece I've had.
Not with you, dear, with our cats. Patience especially adore station chocolate. I think, way back, there must have been railway cats in her family. That's probably why she's always so fascinated when she sees you shoveling coal on the fire. You never worked on the Stockton to Darlington, did you?
You know, Hilda, I think the main reason I prefer travelling everywhere by car is that when you're driving, you don't talk so much. Or if you do, I can't hear you above the crashing of the gears.
What you hear isn't the gears crashing, dear. It's your old bones rattling every time we go over a bump.
And the reason your bones don't rattle is because you eat far too much chocolate.
I say, I wonder if there's a weighing machine on this station.
Oh, not again. You've weighed yourself at every stop since Walton on the Nail.
Yes, and you know I haven't put on a single ounce today, despite eating all that lunch and almost 4 bars of chocolate. Oh, Evadne. Evadne, what's that?
It's something scratching at the door by the sound of it.
Well, it must be something awfully big. That door's shaking. And so am I, come to that.
Well, I have a look out of the window. Oh, it's all right, Hilda. It's only a dog. Presumably wants a bit of company, which is something obviously in very short supply around here.
Oh, poor thing. Oh. Let it in. I'll give it some of my chocolate.
Very well.
Do be careful, though, dear. We don't want that dog going for your throat.
Well, come in if you're coming.
Well, that's seen him off. And I thought you had a way with dogs.
Oh, heavens, I shall be glad when this dreadful day is over. Just look at this dreary hole. I do wish we'd taken the car.
Just because I refused to take that car, you have been determined not to enjoy today, haven't you? As a matter of fact, this station reminds me of a train journey I took during the war.
No. I've had more than enough about your train journeys during the war. They were always extremely long, extremely dark, and the train was always full of sailors.
No, be fair, dear. Not always. Nearly always, I grant you.
You know, I sometimes wonder how we ever managed to win the war at sea. Most of our sailors seem to have spent the entire duration travelling about England by train with you.
Well, then you'll be happy to know that on this particular train I now have in mind, there was not one single sailor.
No, full of married ones, was it?
Oh, a joke. You're cheering up, aren't you? But you're wrong, dear. It wasn't full of sailors at all. Guess again.
Do I have to?
Go on, we've nothing else to do. Guess again. Now, what was the train full of?
Oh, very well. It was full of airmen.
Wrong again. It was full of sheep.
Sheep? Yes, sheep. What on earth were sheep doing on a train?
They were on a sheep day return. Yes. No, seriously, now. They were going from one place to another, the same as you are. Though I must say they weren't bleating quite as much as you. It was when I was a land girl, and me and another land girl, Vicky Dean, had to take a flock of sheep from our farm to another farm, miles away, and we went by train.
Why?
I don't know. It was wartime, and everything was very hush-hush, you know. Anyway, we ended up on a little station just like this, me and Vicky Dean, and about 200 sheep. They stretched from one end of the station to the other. You couldn't see the platform at all. It's the biggest sheepskin rug I've ever seen.
What were they doing on the platform? I mean, shouldn't they have been in the goods yard or sheep pens or something?
Well, they should have been there, yes. But between you and me, our sheepdog was working against us.
Your sheepdog?
Yes, we only found out later. It was a German sheepdog.
Another one of your silly stories.
Evadne, it's the absolute truth, dear. It was a Welsh collie, but it had been born in Bavaria, quite close to Berchtesgaden, and it never really settled down here. In fact, I don't think Vicky Dean and I would ever have got those sheep where they were going had it not been for the timely arrival of a truckload of GIs.
I thought the armed forces would appear sooner or later.
As a matter of fact, Vicky Dean married one of those GIs and went to live in Ealing. Florida.
Oh. Well, no doubt she keeps a lucky sheep's foot in her purse.
Oh, I've no idea, dear. The last I heard, she was wrestling with alligators.
Oh.
I say, it's jolly quiet in here, isn't it?
It is when you stop talking.
Evadne, I can hear somebody walking about out there.
Well, it is a station, dear. But if you're worried, why don't you go and have a look?
Oh, no, dear, no, you go and have a look. You were so successful scaring that dog off. Evadne. Oh, look, a face at the window.
Judging by the cap and badge, Hilda, I'd say that was a porter. One does occasionally find them on stations.
Good evening, ladies. I'm sorry if I started you, but to be quite honest, I saw the light and I thought you might be vandals.
Vandals? Do I look like a vandal?
Well, who do you tell these days? Do you know I come in here one morning about 7 o'clock weeks so back? And there were a fella in a green three-piece suit and kid gloves unscrewing the doorknob off that door.
What was he doing? Trying to get in?
Nope, he weren't.
Trying to get out, then?
Nope, he was trying to nick the doorknob. Or take anything. Railway memorabilia, they calls it. Used to be known as thieving. See where them marks, he's up there, on that wall?
Yeah.
Used to be a picture there, they did.
Don't tell me. Llandudno.
No, matter of fact, it was Pevensey Bay.
Well, I was close, wasn't I?
Not unless they've moved Pevensey Bay, you want. Anywho, cut long story short, that was nicked about 3 months ago. You see there now, across there on the far platform there was a big sign up there saying Milden Priory. That went and all.
Why did it say Milden Priory?
Well, so's folk would know where they was at, that's why. Which since it's been gone, they haven't.
But this isn't Milden Priory.
There you are, what did I tell you?
Surely this is Bradfield Green.
If it is, I've been working on the wrong station the best part of 25 years.
Well, don't look at me, Evadne. You said we had to change at the first stop. All I did was get out.
That's what the ticket collector at Mapleford told me, the first stop.
Ah, well, now, if you was coming from Mapleford, this ain't the first stop. Not this time of night. No, at this time of night, the next stop's the first stop, if you follow my meaning. And this stop ain't a stop at all. Leastwise, not properly speak. And, well, you know, it ain't been since they stopped half the stopping trains stopping here. And that was a few years back. Well, look, you see, they do stop, but they don't, if you see what I mean. Some do, some don't. Yours didn't.
Ah, but ours did.
No, well, it shouldn't have. No, it shouldn't have. That would have been an unscheduled stop. You can't stop the odd unscheduled stop. You should have stopped on it.
Oh, do stop it.
Don't, Evadne. Please don't do. You'll only encourage him.
No, you want to be at Bradfield Green.
We know perfectly well where we want to be.
We really want to be at Maltby Magna. Well, Stackton Tressel, really. But there isn't a station at Stackton Tressel.
You'll not get a train there then, will you?
And anyway, we left the car at Maltby Magna.
A shame you didn't leave it here, really.
Well, we can all be wise after the event. Now, what time is the next train to Bradfield Green?
11 minutes past 6 in the morning.
In the morning?
Ah, no, that one will take you straight through to Maltby Magna without changing.
Do you mean we have to wait in this godforsaken hole for 9 hours?
That's about the size of it.
Oh, no.
Neither of you plays dominoes, I suppose.
Well, I must say, Hilda, this looks like being the end of a perfect day. And all because you so selfishly refused to take that car.
Don't pout, Evadne. You look like something on a fishmonger's slab. But no one shall say that I am selfish. If it'll please you, I'll gladly walk to Maltby Magna and fetch the car.
Walk? What, to Maltby Magna?
Well, how long do you think it would take me?
Well, I've no idea, really. But in that dress and them heels, I'd lay money on a 6-11 beating you to it.
Well, in the event, I didn't have to walk to Maltby. Oh, Evadne didn't talk me out of it, the rotter. So I had to talk myself out of it. Anyhow, it transpired that the porter lived in a house tucked away on the far side of the station, to which we all adjourned. From his office there, he set about telephoning round in search of a solution to our problem, but not before he had settled us quite cosily in an adjoining room. Here we were soon ensconced in front of a blazing fire, sipping black tea from enamel mugs and tucking into doorstep sandwiches. Oh, Evadne, do take that spoon out of your mug, dear. If that stuff sets, you'll never get it out.
The last time I had tea as strong as this, the spoon was on a chain.
If it was as strong as this, the tea should have been on a chain. I know I said I'd have it as it comes, but I'd no idea it would come like this. Still, at least it's hot and wet. I wonder what his wife died of.
Either tannic acid poisoning or lockjaw, I suppose.
Shh, he'll hear you. Anyway, the sandwiches were very nice. The beef was beautiful, and there was so much of it.
It's probably a perk.
What do you mean, dear, a perk?
Well, he can probably claim any cattle that get knocked down on his stretch of the line.
Oh, Evadne, you can be so ungracious. Here, have a custard tart.
No, thank you. I've had an excellent sufficiency.
Well, so have I. But I'm going to have a custard tart. Do you think he'd mind if I slipped one into my bag for the rest of the journey?
No, I'm sure he wouldn't. If you've got any room among the chocolate bars.
Oh, I say. Have you noticed the piano, dear?
Yes, it looks rather a nice one.
Do you think he plays, or perhaps it was his late wife?
Yes, it was his wife.
How do you know that?
Well, I looked at the photograph on the mantelpiece.
Oh, you are nosy.
I'm nosy. It's you who's poking about in the poor man's piano stool.
It's amazing, Evadne. It's full of songs about the railways. Oh, look. A ride in the puff-puff. Johnny the engine driver. Oh, tickling in the tunnel. A tickle in the tunnel is a lark, my boys. A tickle in the tunnel in the dark, my boys. 'Tis nice to take your Mary Jane a-riding in a railway train and have a jolly tickle in the tunnel. Oh. I bet he was a bit of a gay dog in his day.
Coming.
Oh, ladies, I've made a few inquiries. I've spoken to Harry, and yes, you could get a taxi.
Oh, good.
Oh, not really. You see, at this time of night, over that sort of distance, comes out a bit pricey.
How much?
£75.
£75? We could get a hotel room for less than that.
Of course you could. Oh, our little hotel's very reasonable.
Perhaps we should try to get a room there, then.
Yes, that's what I thought. But you're out of luck, I'm afraid.
Oh, it's not full.
No, it's closed. Closed last Saturday. Opens again at Easter.
We were hoping to be home by Easter.
Isn't there another hotel anywhere hereabouts?
Well, yes, there is.
Where?
Maltby Magna. But that's not a lot of help. No, anyhow, I put out a few feelers for the upper echelons of British Rail, and it's just possible we might be able to get a non-stopper to stop here and just pick you two up. Mind you, ladies, if we do, I'll ask you to keep it under your hats. It's something we normally only does for the Queen Mother. And, of course, Jimmy Savile.
Oh, that would be marvellous.
Well, they'll be ringing me back in a couple of shakes.
We really are most grateful to you.
Oh, you've been looking at the music, have you? Either of you play?
No, but Evadne tries something.
Oh, no one's touched that piano since the wife died. It's a shame, really. Oh, I'd like to hear it played.
Well, I'll play it for you with pleasure. But if I do, I warn you, Hilda's bound to sing along.
Oh, so you sing a bit, do you?
Well...
Now, come along, Hilda, no false modesty. Admit it, you do sing. A bit.
I tell you what I would like to hear again. This one here.
Yes.
It was the missus's favourite, that one. Funny, really, 'cause it ain't about the train journey, it's about the bus journey. Mine being musical like, she were always more interested in the tunes. With me being more literally like, you know, it were the words. Bit of a Jack Sprattus, except neither of us liked fat. That'll be the word about your special, I shouldn't wonder. Not be a jiffy, don't go away now.
We know this song, Evadne. Chalk Farm to Camberwell Green. It was one of Gertie Miller's songs from Bric-a-Brac. Just pick out the beginning, dear, will you? Very quietly.
Very well.
Please. No, I actually meant the tune, dear, not the oompahs. I can't sing the oompahs.
What makes you think you can sing the tune?
Evadne, if this wasn't somebody else's piano, I'd be very tempted to smash the lid down on your digits.
Well, ladies, you'll be pleased to know you got yourselves a train.
Ah.
It's going to stop and pick you up a special.
Oh, that's wonderful. Have I got time to powder my nose?
Got plenty of time. It's what we calls the milk train. Goes through here about 2:30 in the morning.
You know, Evadne, I'm so glad we didn't take the car today. It's an age since I went home on a milk train. Do you know? This reminds me of one time during the war when Vilma Filmer and I were going up to
shut up,
Romford.
Hilda, and sing.
Once up to London I went for the day. Everything there seemed so lively and gay. I met a fellow, a regular swell, said I was looking so rosy and well. He whispered kindly, now don't make a fuss. We'll have a ride on the top of a bus. Up came the bus and in front could be seen Chalk Farm to Camberwell Green. Chalk Farm to Camberwell Green, all on a summer's day. Up we climbed on the motor bus and we started right away. When we got to the end of the ride, he asked me to go for a walk. But I wasn't Camberwell Green by a very long chalk. Up on a bus, it's so lovely to ride, especially if there's a chap by your side. There we were sitting, it really was grand. Half of the time he was holding my hand. He said there may be pickpockets or worse, so I had better look after your purse. But I remembered the words I had seen, chalk farm to Camberwell Green. Chalk farm to Camberwell Green, all on a summer's day. Up we climbed on the motor bus and we started right away. When we got to the end of the ride, he asked me to go for a walk. But I wasn't Camberwell Green by a very long chalk. Chalk farm to Camberwell Green, all on a summer's day. Up we climbed on the motor bus and we started right away. Now when we got to the end of the ride, he asked me to go for a walk. But I wasn't Camberwell Green by a very long chalk.
That was Night Train to Stackton Tressel, a further extract from the random jottings of Hinge and Bracket.